After the wacky, the insane, the crazy, the disturbing of 2022,
Oh, it's true! He ain't lying.
complex stories, intricate stories, significant stories, important stories came out of that year.
You are correct, sir. Yeah!
That are going to roll over in 23.
Fuck.
We'll take a look at them. I'm Jazz Borgonzo, and this is what's next. Hey guys, Jazz Borgonzo, what's up? Hope you guys are doing well today. It's a Monday. It's 2023. And of course, as I've used in the past, it's back to business. Well, yesterday's video, I did a story in regarding to pop culture's 2022 and kind of the most insane, ridiculous stories from that standpoint. But in this video, a number of important stories, significant stories that from 2022, sadly, are carrying over into 2023. And we best be damn aware of it. Here we go. This comes out of The Blaze. 10 most significant stories of 2022 by The Blaze's own Steve Deace. Number 10. The Canadian trucker convoy. Remember them? Remember them who basically said, hey, you know what? We're not going to take the backs and we're going to stand up for what's right for all Canadians. Well, until Justin Trudeau came down, little Hitler, and yeah, the rest they say is history. Truckers from across Canada protested vaccine mandates and other COVID-19 restrictions with a, quote, freedom convoy that began in British Columbia and made its way to the nation's capital with tens of thousands of supporters. Selling out. Number 9, of course, Turkey Neck McConnell. The House of Representatives on Friday passed the assault weapons ban of 2022. A bill that would ban various semi-automatic weapons, though the measure would grandfather in firearms that people already own. Quote, it shall be unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess and affect interstate or foreign commerce a semi-automatic assault weapon, the text of the bill states. Paragraph 1 shall not apply to the possession, sale, or transfer of any semi-automatic weapon, assault weapon otherwise lawfully possessed under the federal law on this date of the enactment of the assault weapons ban of 2022. So, all of us who agree with the Second Amendment, yeah, you better be aware of this bad boy. Republican Representatives Chris Jacobs of New York and Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania joined most Democrats in voting for the bill. Shocker. But Democratic Representatives Kurt Schrader of Oregon, Ken Cuellar of Texas, Jared Golden of Maine, Ron Kind of Wisconsin, and Vicente Gonzalez of Texas voted against the bill. Shocking? You bet. Ukraine, number 8. The U.S. has nearly $20 billion in first world weaponry to Ukraine since its invasion by Russia. House Republicans, posed to take control of Congress in January, and now pressured the Biden administration for greater accountability and transparency. Really? You just handed over an additional $49 billion, which puts it over $100 billion since its ridiculousness began in March. Now pressuring the Biden administration for greater accountability and transparency about the weapons of transfer, as well as other aid packages sent to the embattled Slavic nation. The push for greater oversight comes in as revealed that there have only been 2 in-person weapons inspections conducted by U.S. monitors since February. Wow. Inflation. Tiffany Wiley, an economist who works for the investment management giant PIMCO, explained on CNBC's Squawk Box that the report are deceiving because certain measurements skew the data. There's a little bit of noise that you have to take into account because inventories and trade numbers can obviously be volatile. If you dig into the detail of the quarter 3 GDP numbers, you will find that you will exclude those most volatile categories. Growth was pretty subpar. For the year as a whole, excluding these categories, we call that final domestic demand. Growth is minus 1% GDP growth, noting that 2021 saw the robust growth of 5%. Really? 5% robust growth. This guy has had some of the worst GDP numbers since Obama's fourth quarter. Look it up. GROOMERS, of course. U.S. Representative Carol Maloney of New York, the Democrat who lists gender pronouns, of course she did, she and her, in her Twitter biography, is publicly praising Drag Queen Story Hour, a program that featured cross-dressers reading books to children. Across the country, books are being banned, which are depriving our nation's youth. But thanks to the New York Public Library and programs like Drag Queen Story Hour, New York's next generation are getting well-rounded education about the alphabet issues and gender identity. These are the same people that wouldn't let Kirk Cameron talk about his book, As We Grow, until there was overwhelming backlash. Ron DeSantis. Florida law requires that elected officials tender irrevocably the resignation if they seek another office in term in which would overlap their term with their current office. No person may qualify as a candidate for more than one public office, whether federal, state, district, county, municipal, or terms in any part of thereof concurrently with each other, the law explains. No officer may qualify as a candidate for another state, district, county, or municipal office if the terms or any part of thereof concurrently run with each other without resigning from the office he or she presently holds. Just a hint on possibly what could happen in 24. Musk buys Twitter. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk reportedly fired 4 top executives right out of the gate. Fact. On Twitter after completing the deal. Musk reportedly fired Twitter executive. Of course, I'm not just going to go into a whole you get the gist of the story. The report says at least one executive was escorted out of the office after he was fired. Depopulation. One may have thought that Bill Nye's new Netflix show had reached its lowest point, crude and anti-science song about genitals and gender theory. But beyond the nonsense, the former children's show star is also floating theory that bringing children into this world also comes with government-imposed penalties because of course, wait for it, climate change. Yes, faux climate change. On a season finale of Bill Nye Saves the World entitled Earth's People Problem, the former children's star turned panderer and millennial nostalgia, and hype theory discussed overpopulation, asking panels whether or not we should have policies that penalize people for having extra kids in the developed world. Bill Nye, the ass clown guy. The red wave that wasn't. Imagine how amazing things could have been if we woken up last Wednesday morning of course, prior to the election, Republicans winning 54 seats in the Senate, 250 seats in the House. We'd be better off than Promised Land, right? Wrong. Actually, from a policy perspective, we'd be in the same place we are today. Sans the much needed introspection that is taking place deep in the souls of conservative politicos. An introspection we need for decades. It's not about Trump per se. It's not even so much about McConnell or McCarthy. It's that we are true rhinos, Republicans in name only, in a party that has never shared our values for most of its history. Coming in at number 1, Roe overturned. The Supreme Court of the United States officially overturned and burned Roe v. Wade to the ground after 49 years and 63 million deaths has been given back to the states on this historic day. Blaze TV celebrated the Supreme Court incredible decision and takes a look at some of the insane reactions at the left comes completely undone. That was a lot to unpack. And of course, you can go into each individual story and how it affected 22 and how it's going to roll over in 23. A number of those stories will roll over in 23. The red trickle, being that we have 7 seats in the House. And of course, we lost the Senate because of Turkey McConnell and the other rhino asswipes in the Senate. Of course, we didn't do ourselves any favor by not coming out to vote. You have DeSantis. Of course, DeSantis is going to play a major role, just like he's been a total savage the last 4 years of his last term. We're going to see what happens this term. Because as we saw on election night, when DeSantis just wiped Florida clean, that was the only red wave that happened in the country. You had those, sadly, former President Donald Trump tried to piss on DeSantis' parade. Yeah, and it backfired. Groomers, they're not going away, sadly. Sadly, just in 20 and 21 and 22, sadly, the groomers will be in full force in 2023. The woke mob, of course, all the knuckleheads, but then you will have those like libs of TikTok, Tucker, Ben Shapiro, The Blaze, and others exposing these ass clowns for what they truly are, demonic. Inflation not going away also. We're going to go into hyperinflation going into this year and going into 2024. One man cannot do it all. Whether it's Trump or DeSantis, it's going to take an incredible effort by so many people to step up from the ground, from the grassroots, from your local, your state, to make any sort of headway, any sort of damage going into 2024. But when it comes to the situations that we have, that we had dealt with in 2022, the insanity of 2022, I pray to God that some of it, gets resolved. But sadly, we're going to have to live through this crap all over again. And I didn't even talk about Dementia Boy. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.